Hi! I see you're about to become smarter. This video will help you to improve your English language skills. So let's begin.
Relevant. Relevant. Relevant means closely connected or appropriate to what is being done or considered. Closely connected or appropriate to what is being done or considered. For example, what small companies need is relevant advice. What small companies need is relevant advice. Reliable. Reliable. Reliable means consistently good in quality or performance. Consistently good in quality or performance. For example, a reliable source of information. A reliable source of information. Relieved. Relieved. Relieved means no longer feeling distressed or anxious. No longer feeling distressed or anxious. For example, relieved parents who had waited anxiously for news. Relieved parents who had waited anxiously for news. Religious. Religious. Religious means relating to or believing in religion. Relating to or believing in religion. For example, both men were deeply religious, intelligent, and moralistic. Both men were deeply religious, intelligent, and moralistic. Remarkable. Remarkable. Remarkable means worthy of attention. Worthy of attention. For example, a remarkable coincidence. A remarkable coincidence. Remote. Remote. Remote means situated far from main centers of population. Situated far from main centers of population. For example, I'd chosen a spot that looked as remote from any road as possible. I'd chosen a spot that looked as remote from any road as possible. Repeated. Repeated. Repeated means done or occurring again several times in same way. Done or occurring again several times in same way. For example, there were repeated attempts to negotiate. There were repeated attempts to negotiate. Resident. Resident. Resident means living somewhere on long-term basis. Living somewhere on long-term basis. For example, he has been resident in Brazil for a long time. He has been resident in Brazil for a long time. Responsible. Responsible. Responsible means having obligation to do something, or having control over or care for someone, as part. Having obligation to do something, or having control over or care for someone, as part. For example, the department responsible for education. The department responsible for education. Retired. Retired. Retired means having left one's job and ceased to work. Having left one's job and ceased to work. For example, a retired teacher. A retired teacher. Risky. Risky. Risky means full of possibility of danger or loss. full of possibility of danger or loss. For example, it was much too risky to try to disarm him. It was much too risky to try to disarm him. Romantic. Romantic. Romantic means conducive to or characterized by expression of love. Conducive to or characterized by expression of love. For example, a romantic candlelit dinner. A romantic candlelit dinner. Rough. Rough. Rough means having uneven or irregular surface. Having uneven or irregular surface. For example, they had to carry the victim across the rough, stony ground. They had to carry the victim across the rough, stony ground. Routine. Routine. Routine means performed as part of regular procedure rather than for special reason. Performed as part of regular procedure rather than for special reason. For example, the principal insisted that this was just a routine annual drill. The principal insisted that this was just a routine annual drill. Royal. Royal. Royal means having status of king or queen or member of their family. Having status of king or queen or member of their family. For example, contributors included members of the royal family. Contributors included members of the royal family. Rural. Rural. Rural means in, relating to, or characteristic of countryside rather than town. In, relating to, or characteristic of countryside rather than town. For example, remote rural areas. Remote rural areas. Satisfied. Satisfied. Satisfied means contented. Contented. For example, satisfied customers. Satisfied customers. Scientific. Scientific. Scientific means based on or characterized by methods and principles of science. Based on or characterized by methods and principles of science. For example, the scientific study of earthquakes. The scientific study of earthquakes. Secondary. Secondary. Secondary means coming after person or thing else that is primary. Coming after person or thing else that is primary. For example, the plot is of secondary importance. What matters most is the relationships between the characters. The plot is of secondary importance. What matters most is the relationships between the characters. Secure. Secure. Secure means fixed or fastened so as not to give way. Fixed or fastened so as not to give way. For example, check to ensure that all nuts and bolts are secure. Check to ensure that all nuts and bolts are secure. Senior. Senior. Senior means ever for older or more experienced people. Ever for older or more experienced people. For example, senior citizens. Senior citizens. Sensible. Sensible. Sensible means done or chosen in accordance with wisdom or prudence. Done or chosen in accordance with wisdom or prudence. For example, I cannot believe that it is sensible to spend so much. I cannot believe that it is sensible to spend so much. Sensitive. Sensitive. Sensitive means quick to detect or respond to slight changes or influences. Quick to detect or respond to slight changes or influences. For example, the new method of protein detection was more sensitive than earlier ones. The new method of protein detection was more sensitive than earlier ones. Severe. Severe. Severe means very great. Very great. For example, a severe shortage of technicians. A severe shortage of technicians. Sexual. Sexual. Sexual means relating to instincts, processes, and activities connected with physical attraction. Relating to instincts, processes, and activities connected with physical attraction. For example, she had felt the thrill of a sexual attraction. She had felt the thrill of a sexual attraction. Sexy. Sexy. Sexy means sexually attractive or exciting. Sexually attractive or exciting. For example, sexy French underwear. Sexy French underwear. Shallow. Shallow. Shallow means of little depth. Of little depth. For example, serve the noodles in a shallow bowl. Serve the noodles in a shallow bowl. Shaped. Shaped. Shaped means having defined shape. Having defined shape. For example, an enclosed back garden with a shaped lawn. An enclosed back garden with a shaped lawn. Sharp. Sharp. Sharp means having edge or point that is able to cut or pierce something. Having edge or point that is able to cut or pierce something. For example, cut the cake with a very sharp knife. Cut the cake with a very sharp knife. Shiny. Shiny. Shiny means reflecting light. Reflecting light. For example, shiny hair. Shiny hair. Shocking. Shocking. Shocking means causing indignation or disgust. Causing indignation or disgust. For example, shocking behavior. Shocking behavior. Short term. Short term. Short term means occurring over or relating to short period of time. Occurring over or relating to short period of time. For example, it might be a wise short-term investment. It might be a wise short-term investment. Shy. Shy. Shy means nervous or timid in company of other people. Nervous or timid in company of other people. For example, I was pretty shy at school. I was pretty shy at school. Significant. Significant. Significant means sufficiently great or important to be worthy of attention. Sufficiently great or important to be worthy of attention. For example, a significant increase in sales. A significant increase in sales. Silent. Silent. Silent means not making or accompanied by any sound. Not making or accompanied by any sound. For example, the woods were still and silent. The woods were still and silent. Silly. Silly. Silly means having or showing lack of common sense or judgment. Having or showing lack of common sense or judgment. For example, another of his silly jokes. Another of his silly jokes. Sincere. Sincere. Sincere means free from pretense or deceit. Free from pretense or deceit. For example, they offer their sincere thanks to Paul. They offer their sincere thanks to Paul. Skilled. Skilled. Skilled means having or showing knowledge, ability, or training to perform certain activity or task well. Having or showing knowledge, ability, or training to perform certain activity or task well. For example, a lab technician skilled in electronics. A lab technician skilled in electronics. Slight. Slight. Slight means small in degree. Small in degree. For example, a slight increase. A slight increase. Smart. Smart. Smart means having or showing quick-witted intelligence. Having or showing quick-witted intelligence. For example, if he was that smart he would never have been tricked. If he was that smart he would never have been tricked. Smooth. Smooth. Smooth means having even and regular surface. Having even and regular surface. For example, smooth flat rocks. Smooth flat rocks. So-called. So-called. So-called means used to show that something or someone is commonly designated by name or term specified. Used to show that something or someone is commonly designated by name or term specified. For example, next on the list are so-called soft chemicals like phosphorus acid. Next on the list are so-called soft chemicals like phosphorus acid. Solid. Solid. Solid means firm and stable in shape. Firm and stable in shape. For example, the stream was frozen solid. The stream was frozen solid. Sophisticated. Sophisticated. Sophisticated means having, revealing, or proceeding from great deal of worldly experience and knowledge of fashion and culture. Having, revealing, or proceeding from great deal of worldly experience and knowledge of fashion and culture. For example, a chic, sophisticated woman. A chic, sophisticated woman. Southern. Southern. Southern means situated in south or directed towards or facing south. Situated in south or directed towards or facing south. For example, the Southern Hemisphere. The Southern Hemisphere. Specialist. Specialist. Specialist means possessing or involving detailed knowledge or study of restricted topic. Possessing or involving detailed knowledge or study of restricted topic. For example, the project may involve people with specialist knowledge. The project may involve people with specialist knowledge. Spectacular. Spectacular. Spectacular means beautiful in dramatic and eye-catching way. Beautiful in dramatic and eye-catching way. For example, spectacular mountain scenery. Spectacular mountain scenery. Spicy. Spicy. Spicy means flavored with or fragrant with spice. Flavored with or fragrant with spice. For example, pasta in a spicy tomato sauce. Pasta in a spicy tomato sauce. Spiritual. Spiritual. Spiritual means relating to or affecting human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. Relating to or affecting human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. For example, I'm responsible for his spiritual welfare. I'm responsible for his spiritual welfare. Spoken. Spoken. Spoken means speaking in specified way. Speaking in specified way. For example, a blunt-spoken man. A blunt-spoken man. Sporting. Sporting. Sporting means connected with or interested in sport. Connected with or interested in sport. For example, a major sporting event. A major sporting event. Standard. Standard. Standard means used or accepted as normal or average. Used or accepted as normal or average. For example, the standard rate of income tax. The standard rate of income tax. Steep. Steep. Steep means rising or falling sharply. Rising or falling sharply. For example, she pushed the bike up the steep hill. She pushed the bike up the steep hill. Sticky. Sticky. Sticky means tending or designed to stick to things on contact. Tending or designed to stick to things on contact. For example, her sticky bubble gum. Her sticky bubble gum. Stiff. Stiff. Stiff means not easily bent or changed in shape. Not easily bent or changed in shape. For example, a stiff black collar. A stiff black collar. Still. Still. Still means not moving or making sound. Not moving or making sound. For example, the still body of the young man. The still body of the young man. Strict. Strict. Strict means demanding that rules concerning behavior are obeyed and observed. Demanding that rules concerning behavior are obeyed and observed. For example, my father was very strict. My father was very strict. Stunning. Stunning. Stunning means extremely impressive or attractive. Extremely impressive or attractive. For example, she looked stunning. She looked stunning. Subject. Subject. Subject means likely or prone to be affected by. Likely or prone to be affected by. For example, he was subject to bouts of manic depression. He was subject to bouts of manic depression. Subsequent. Subsequent. Subsequent means coming after something in time. Coming after something in time. For example, the theory was developed subsequent to the earthquake of 1906. The theory was developed subsequent to the earthquake of 1906. Sudden. Sudden. Sudden means occurring or done quickly and unexpectedly or without warning. Occurring or done quickly and unexpectedly or without warning. For example, a sudden bright flash. A sudden bright flash. Sufficient. Sufficient. Sufficient means enough. Enough. For example, they had sufficient resources to survive. They had sufficient resources to survive. Suitable. Suitable. Suitable means right or appropriate for particular person or situation. Right or appropriate for particular person or situation. For example, these toys are not suitable for children under 5. These toys are not suitable for children under 5. Super. Super. Super means very good or pleasant. Very good or pleasant. For example, Julie was a super girl. Julie was a super girl. Surrounding. Surrounding. Surrounding means all round particular place or thing. All round particular place or thing. For example, Nashville and the surrounding area. Nashville and the surrounding area. Sustainable. Sustainable. Sustainable means able to be maintained at certain rate or level. Able to be maintained at certain rate or level. For example, Sustainable fusion reactions. Sustainable fusion reactions. Sympathetic. Sympathetic. Sympathetic means feeling, showing, or expressing sympathy. Feeling, showing, or expressing sympathy. For example, he was sympathetic towards staff with family problems. He was sympathetic towards staff with family problems. Talented. Talented. Talented means having natural aptitude or skill for something. Having natural aptitude or skill for something. For example, a talented young musician. A talented young musician. Technical. Technical. Technical means relating to particular subject, art, or craft, or its techniques. Relating to particular subject, art, or craft, or its techniques. For example, technical terms. Technical terms. Technological. Technological. Technological means relating to or using technology. Relating to or using technology. For example, the quickening pace of technological change. The quickening pace of technological change. Temporary. Temporary. Temporary means lasting for only limited period of time. Lasting for only limited period of time. For example, a temporary job. A temporary job. Tight. Tight. Tight means fixed, fastened, or closed firmly. Fixed, fastened, or closed firmly. For example, she twisted her handkerchief into a tight knot. She twisted her handkerchief into a tight knot. Tiny. Tiny. Tiny means very small. Very small. For example, a tiny hummingbird. A tiny hummingbird. Total. Total. Total means comprising whole number or amount. Comprising whole number or amount. For example, a total cost of 4,000. A total cost of 4,000. Tough. Tough. Tough means strong enough to withstand adverse conditions. Strong enough to withstand adverse conditions. For example, tough backpacks for climbers. Tough backpacks for climbers. Tragic. Tragic. Tragic means causing or characterized by extreme distress or sorrow. Causing or characterized by extreme distress or sorrow. For example, the shooting was a tragic accident. The shooting was a tragic accident. Tropical. Tropical. Tropical means typical of, or peculiar to tropics. Typical of, or peculiar to tropics. For example, tropical countries. Tropical countries. Ugly. Ugly. Ugly means unpleasant or repulsive. Unpleasant or repulsive. For example, people in school always told me I was ugly. People in school always told me I was ugly. Ultimate. Ultimate. Ultimate means being or happening at end of process. Being or happening at end of process. For example, their ultimate aim was to force his resignation. Their ultimate aim was to force his resignation. Unable. Unable. Unable means lacking skill, means, or opportunity to do something. Lacking skill, means, or opportunity to do something. For example, she was unable to conceal her surprise. She was unable to conceal her surprise. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Unacceptable means not satisfactory or allowable. Not satisfactory or allowable. For example, unacceptable behavior. Unacceptable behavior. Uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Uncomfortable means causing or feeling slight pain or physical discomfort. Causing or feeling slight pain or physical discomfort. For example, athlete's foot is a painful and uncomfortable condition. Athlete's foot is a painful and uncomfortable condition. Unconscious. Unconscious. Unconscious means not conscious. Not conscious. For example, the boy was beaten unconscious. The boy was beaten unconscious. Unexpected. Unexpected. Unexpected means not expected or regarded as likely to happen. Not expected or regarded as likely to happen. For example, his death was totally unexpected. His death was totally unexpected. Unfair. Unfair. Unfair means not based on or behaving according to principles of equality and justice. Not based on or behaving according to principles of equality and justice. For example, at times like these the legal system appears inhumane and unfair. At times like these the legal system appears inhumane and unfair. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Unfortunate means having or marked by bad fortune. Having or marked by bad fortune. For example, the unfortunate Cunningham was fired. The unfortunate Cunningham was fired. Unique. Unique. Unique means being only one of its kind. Being only one of its kind. For example, this discovery was unique in history. This discovery was unique in history. Universal. Universal. Universal means relating to or done by all people or things in world or in particular group. Relating to or done by all people or things in world or in particular group. For example, universal adult suffrage. Universal adult suffrage. Unknown. Unknown. Unknown means not known or familiar. Not known or familiar. For example, exploration into unknown territory. Exploration into unknown territory. Unlikely. Unlikely. Unlikely means not likely to happen, be done, or be true. Not likely to happen, be done, or be true. For example, an unlikely explanation. An unlikely explanation. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. Unnecessary means not needed. Not needed. For example, a fourth Chicago airport is unnecessary. A fourth Chicago airport is unnecessary. Upper. Upper. Upper means situated above another part. Situated above another part. For example, his upper arm. His upper arm. Upset. Upset. Upset means unhappy, disappointed, or worried. Unhappy, disappointed, or worried. For example, she looked pale and upset. She looked pale and upset. Urban. Urban. Urban means relating to town or city. Relating to town or city. For example, the urban population. The urban population. Urgent. Urgent. Urgent means requiring immediate action or attention. Requiring immediate action or attention. For example, the situation is far more urgent than politicians are admitting. The situation is far more urgent than politicians are admitting. Used. Used. Used means having already been used. Having already been used. For example, scrawling on the back of a used envelope. Scrawling on the back of a used envelope. Useless. Useless. Useless means not fulfilling or not expected to achieve intended purpose or desired outcome. Not fulfilling or not expected to achieve intended purpose or desired outcome. For example, a piece of useless knowledge. A piece of useless knowledge. Valid. Valid. Valid means having sound basis in logic or fact. Having sound basis in logic or fact. For example, a valid criticism. A valid criticism. Various. Various. Various means different from one another. Different from one another. For example, dresses of various colors. Dresses of various colors. Vast. Vast. Vast means a very great extent or quantity. A very great extent or quantity. For example, a vast plain of buffalo grass. A vast plain of buffalo grass.
Great! Watch again, practice the sound, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.